Welcome back to the Couch Commentators podcast. Today, we don't have Dan, but we do have two fine-looking gentlemen. We have James and Lucas. Over to you, boys.
Well, Lucas, tell us about yourself.
Well, guys, what more is there to say? I'm a sports lover. I'm a degenerate punter, and mate, anything talking about sports and talking about betting, mate, I'm interested in, and I love it.
Aren't we fucking all?
That's the way, mate. There's only one way.
What about you, James?
Well, I'm Leachy's older brother. Some call me Leachy Senior. You can call me James, Jimmy, Jimbo.
Papa Leach?
Yeah, Papa Leach. Man of many names.
Yeah.
Also
Also, degenerate punter.
Yeah, absolute degenerate punter.
Can't forget
Got my fair share of problems with that, so try to keep myself in check. And just a football tragic. Go Para.
Oh, jeez. You didn't have to add that in. Don't hop off the video now, or the podcast.
I just realised where I was holding my beer. It looked a bit sus. It was between my legs poking up on the camera, so I'll start to hold that on the side.
Oh, speaking of that, we'll have a sip for the boys. Well, I think we should get into our first talking point, and it's Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev. Big fight. Massive outcome, like some saying Volk won, some saying Islam won. It's a bit of a conspiracy, I think.
Oh, look, I mean, James, you go, mate.
Oh, no. You're usually more in depth on UFC. I'll give my quick point first, and then I'll shoot it to you.
Okay.
So, luckily enough, I was watching this with a couple of real degenerates at the local leagues club, namely two of my co-hosts here, and the fight, I thought Islam was winning for most of the fight. Like, you can look back at it, and you go, Volk had some great moments, but he got clipped a lot. He got out-wrestled for most of it. Even though he never looked in trouble, he was getting out-wrestled. Anytime someone has a body triangle on you, you're in trouble. But I can understand the people wanting Volk to win so hard. They see it that way, but I thought Islam won it.
Yeah, I know. The crowds were like definitely against Islam.
Well, that's the thing, being in Western Australia and being the guy that Volkanovski is, who's so vocal about being an Australian and standing up for yourself, and I suppose coming out to the
doing
to
everyone
the song,
proud.
Yeah, doing everyone proud. Coming out to the song that he did come out to as well is just one way to get the Aussie crowd behind you. And I think this one in particular, you don't really get a number one versus number two pound for pound fight.
Like, ever. I don't think ever.
Yeah. and the other thing is, if you do get, a top pound for pound fighters fighting each other, it rarely ever lives up to it like that fight did. For it to be such a, a back and forth match, very close.
Close fucking fight.
It met the height. It met the height. It was such a high bar, and it met it.
Exactly right. And I think the weirdest part is you think Islam, you think Dagestani Russians that love their wrestling.
Those
the dominance. The dominance that they usually bring.
And
they literally hug bears from fucking a little age.
Yeah. And then you've got Volkanovski, who, in the featherweight division just stood out with his boxing and kickboxing skills. But in the fight, when you watched, it was almost like Islam was getting the better of the striking, but Volkanovski was getting the better of the wrestling, which was the absolute polar opposites of what everyone...
They even said it, in the after...
Yeah, Volk did.
Yeah. He's like, I misjudged his wrestling. No, I misjudged his striking, where I think Islam misjudged Volk's wrestling. It was fucking...
Yeah, great work butchering that quote, but you pretty much got there at the end.
If you want exact quotes, do your own research, but...
No, that's right.
You get what you pay for here,
I think one of the most important things as well is that even though Volkanovski, technically he lost, his stock almost went up, because I can't see him, if he wants to go to 155 against the lightweights, I don't see Charles Oliveira offering him anything, Dustin Poirier offering him anything, Michael Chandler. I don't think any of those blokes...
That was what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, because
him going up against these guys.
His only danger would be some of the knockout power on some of them, getting stunned by Islam when there's bigger hitters.
It's crazy to think, but Conor McGregor, as much as a lot of people dislike him, his fighting style could cause some issues because of his,
he catches people when they're coming in. And
exactly.
Like Volk loves putting pressure on people, and that's how he found himself getting clipped by Islam. Was he was trying to lift the pressure, trying to get Islam on his heels, but then that's when he gets vulnerable.
Well, that's right, and that's why I think, you know, if Islam was connecting the way he did, surely that means Connor, who's a better striker.
And I hate to hear it.
So
I hate to hear that. Don't let my green headphones fool you. I hate to hear anything good about Connor.
I think if Connor gets taken to the ground again, it's 11.
Well, that's true. You know, that's another thing.
I have a feeling if I had Connor on the ground, I could tap him out.
Now, I suppose one of the important questions for Volkanovski is, you know, where does he go from here? Because he posted on Twitter himself the other day after the fight is that he thought he won 3 rounds, 2, 3, and 5. Now, if he's so strongly about that, does he fight Islam again? Or does he go and fight Yair Rodriguez, who won the co-main event, which was for the interim championship? He won that via triangle choke against Josh Emmett. So, you know, where does that leave Volkanovski? He's got 2 options.
That Islam's not going to ask for that fight again because he's afraid. And he's even said it that Dana makes all my fights. I don't choose my fights. So unless Dana's going to make the fight, he's not going to ask to get beat up again.
See, the thing is though, Dana loves money. And he didn't even promote this, and it was highly successful. A lot of fans' favourite fight. I think they possibly go back, maybe defend once or twice, as long as they survive. Like, anything can happen. It's a crazy sport. All it takes is one head kick, and one of the most dominant fighters in Usman Kamaru can lose his title. So, if they survive another 2, I would imagine there's going to be enough build-up and enough pressure that at least gets a lot of talking about, because it's the fight fans want to see. It's one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Absolutely. And I suppose I think as well, the Australian fans really put like for example Brazil a few weeks ago when they had the UFC, when their fighter lost the main event, when Glover Teixeira lost, they were booing. You know, they were throwing things in the octagon, and that was also the case for the co-main event death. You know, throwing things in the octagon, throwing things at the champ.
Reminds me of like any soccer game you go to, but
it certainly does. But it puts a part where, you know, even after the fight, Alex was cheered massively.
Yeah. And then he even calmed the crowd down when they started booing Islam.
That's right. Which is, it really, you know, it shows you how much of a good bloke that Volkanovski really is. So.
To be fair, both of them are very, I see a lot of people online giving Islam shit, saying that he was cocky and stuff, and he was humbled. They were both very respectful in the lead up. They're the best fighters, and especially for themselves, they think they're the best fighters in the world. If they're not cocky, they're going to get beat. So, but realistically, they both knew how good each other were leading up to it, and I think they both handled themselves really well in a very tight fight. Like, Volk could have came out and been ropeable at the start, but he handled himself very well.
Yep. And as you said just then, you know, they're both super confident in their ability, but you know they're going at each other in their press conferences. But as soon as it's time to face off, you know, they're absolutely fine with each other. There's no fear of, you know, Dana having a step between them because they're going to do something stupid like you get with a Conor McGregor or someone else. There was just nothing but respect there between them.
I, for one, miss Conor McGregor.
Look,
is it weird to say? Like,
no, not at all. It's not weird to say. I don't miss the fans that he brings that know nothing about the sport. But, you know, post about them being like 2% Irish just in time and then ignore the.
I'm actually 2% Irish. I didn't tell you guys. But...
There you go. There you go.
Me and Connor go way back. No, I mean, I think, you know, Connor brings a lot of fun interviews and, you know, the hype train just builds up throughout each fight week, which is what I miss the most.
He does when he doesn't go overboard.
When he's not throwing, you know,
which
dollies
is every
through
time.
bus windows.
I think I stopped having patience for Connor, unfortunately, around the Aldo fight.
Which wasn't very long into him being a, you know.
No. I remember watching all the YouTube videos beforehand and stuff.
Khabib's family and Khabib's partner. He didn't like him talking trash about it.
Something about that, and it wasn't even the first time he'd done the partner stuff. The Red Panty, like one of his best ever quotes
I also think Khabib had, he deserved to hold on to that neck crank in their fight. He shouldn't have let go. Herb was trying to pull him off, and he was hanging on for dear life. But, yeah.
Wasn't Islam part of that the scuffle afterwards as well?
Of course, Islam's part of it.
Yeah.
Islam is Khabib's boy. They're yeah.
No, but I think I just saw this on Reddit though. I swear Islam was one of the people. Yeah, I believe everything. But I think he was one of the people that threw a punch and almost had his at the time. I think he might have just been contracted and almost had it torn up because of it.
Yeah, right. Maybe. Well, actually, just while you're on that, a bloke who fought on the first fight of this fight card in Perth. He's part of Khabib's team, Zubaira Tukugov. He was the other bloke that did it.
Rolls off the tongue.
Oh.
Yeah, doesn't it just? Now, he was one of the other blokes that jumped in the cage and swung at Connor. And Connor hit him back. So he slipped Zubaira's hook, or Zubaira's left hand, and then threw back at him. And Dana threatened to kick this Zubaira bloke out of the UFC. Khabib, obviously, at the time, pulling his cards because of how big of a draw he was. Khabib said, don't do that, keep him in. Zubaira lost on the weekend. Now he's been cut.
Dana got his way eventually.
Dana got his way. That's it. And he missed weight.
Oh,
by a couple
Dana
of pounds.
hates that. Dana hates that the most.
Dana hates it. So if he,
but that's part of the reason why this fight hasn't had as much promotion as it should have, because he's still salty that Israel missed weight that time, isn't he?
Well, yeah, well, that's right. So, yeah.
Funny games. I saw something again, Reddit. So who knows?
Mm-hmm.
It was about the pound for pound that Volk was still number one. Did you see anything on that?
I thought I saw the opposite. I thought I saw that that Islam is now ranked number one pound for pound, which I, obviously being Australian, it could be a bit biased, but I do not agree with that at all. And you know what? Stop right there. I've just jumped online and seen Volk is still number one.
Right.
That might have been the post that I saw.
I don't think you should have been taken away.
Time to celebrate.
Yeah, because is it like TSN or TZN?
TSN, like correct?
That? Yeah. That's I saw that and I brought it up to Brandon just before you jumped up today.
Then brought up to James that no matter what happens, give it a couple weeks and John Jones will be fighting, and guess what? New pound for pound king.
Yeah. Did you see that John Jones actually went up a spot? He's either fighting his demons or fighting his misses behind the scenes.
Oh, goodness me. Oh, my goodness. Hey, I just want to say as well, I do not think John Jones going up in weight is going to be as easy as a lot of people seem. I think Cyril
I think he's very strong, but I think Garnett's just a good counter for him.
I think Cyril Garn is a very high-level kickboxer.
Yeah.
Obviously, the downside is his grappling, but it's just a matter of if John can get
Francis
close enough.
and Garnu could out-wrestle him.
The crazy part about John Jones, and the reason why he's still my go,
everyone can be wrong. Everyone's allowed to be wrong. Continue.
He's somehow out-wrestled Daniel Cormier.
Correct.
It's absolutely crazy that a guy with as good striking as he does went, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to do what you do and better.
That's right, yeah.
That's why he's a GOAT! That's why he's a GOAT!
He's no GSP in my opinion, but that's okay.
He's no Conor McGregor.
Yeah, fucking 2% Irish.
That's right.
Yeah, let's go.
Just quickly, I want to say a big shout out. So to a lot of the early days UFC fans, if anyone does listen, Jens Pulver, who was the first ever UFC lightweight champion, was inducted into the Hall of Fame on the weekend. Oh. Now, if you know anything about Jens Pulver, he had a horrible upbringing of abuse and all sorts of horrible things, and for him to come out on the other side of that as great a bloke as he is, according to community posts, and now him being in the him being recognised for being such a huge part of the early UFC days, just a big congratulations to that bloke.
I think it's a good sort of note on UFC, rugby league's the same. It happens all throughout sport. For as many dickheads like your John Jones, your Conor McGregors, you get your Volkanovskis, and this guy that's just been inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, your Jens Pulver, that's his name.
Yeah, Jens Pulver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sport that gives opportunities to people in not great situations And when they make the most of it, there's no better side.
Absolutely.
All right, I think that's
UFC
cut
done?
there.
UFC done?
UFC done.
Sweet.
UFC done. We'll
Sweet.
on to the next. Boys, I don't know if you've been keeping tabs with the cricket, but Australia not doing too well. Doing too well.
I probably judged my time wrong, and I invested a couple of full days into watching that shit show of the cricket.
Yeah. No.
While there was NRL trials going on, I just didn't watch them. I was like, I'm so invested, and then after day 2, I went,
all that time
we
wasted.
suck. I was driving around at work with my phone on the side with Kaya
even
playing.
got the phone out, watching it at work.
Because it started at 3.
James'
I worked
bosses
till
are watching
4:30.
this. Turn off now.
No, my GPS was playing up, I swear.
But I mean, some of the stuff that I see going on could have reasons to why we lose, but like the pitch doctoring, the finger cream, whatever.
How good is
like,
finger cream?
How good is the drama of Test cricket?
Oh, mate.
You don't get it in T20. T20 is like, let's just go smash ball. Test cricket has everything.
That's right, and I really dislike how this whole cream that they rubbed on the ball has been sort of swept under the rug by
glossed over.
Yeah, when Sandpaper Gate was such a massive thing, and a couple of.
But that's our fault.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like every single country has been done for ball tampering in one way or the other. Sandpaper was pretty out there. It's just so obvious.
It's quite impressive to come up with
very innovative, I think.
But there's been mint lollies. There's been purposely stepping on the ball. There's picking at the seam. There's been so many things that they get a 1-match suspension or a fine. Yeah. And we gave our 2 best players and an up-and-coming opening batsman a full year suspension.
Yeah, no.
Or was it 2 years?
Aussie media beat that shit up.
I can't remember. Brandon, Brandon, search it up for me.
I don't know what it is with the cricket pitches over there, but the Aussies just cannot seem to deal with it. Whenever we go there, we get absolutely slaughtered.
It's just very different. But so I was listening to the Big Sports Breakfast with Michael Clark, and he was talking. Yeah, Clarky, good mate, Clarky. I love his recent work where he punches on with Carl, but so he was talking about it, and like he expects them to be a lot better this match, not just because they got smashed in the first match, but they didn't have a tour match beforehand. Where every other time you'll go around, you might have 1 or 2 tour matches against the India B squad, or just like whatever their state level teams are and stuff. To at least get your eye in on some Indian pitches and stuff, and in fact, sometimes they serve up pitches that I think last time they went over, they served them up at Green Top, which was quite funny in their tour game, to then obviously go bat on dust bowls. But it's good just to get your eye in a bit in the foreign country. And this time we didn't do that. We played Big Bash instead, and then you have Alex Carey getting out on a reverse sweep.
Brought a new spinner in as well.
Ooh, yeah.
They bring in, like, just a freshie. Just chuck him on the plane and bring him over.
You mean,
the
guy that came in for Swepson.
Yeah. No, I think Swepson's having a kid or something.
Yeah. So not... Yeah. So the new one that's come over, he probably won't play, though. I doubt it.
Oh, okay.
You don't think so?
I've seen something about it today. I was like,
Matthew Kuhneman. Matthew Kuhneman. I hope I'm not ruining that.
Butchering his name, but
but how about our spectacled spinner, the boy?
Oh, mate, Harry Potter, the boy who could
7th for first innings of Test cricket against the best players of spin.
Look, we did have a post on Twitter. May have been me. I'm naming my firstborn Todd. Or Toddley.
Toddley Murphy.
Todd Murphy.
Todd Murphy.
Yeah. No, he had some great figures.
Yeah,
was it 7 for 124?
Yeah.
I just
more sad for Lion, eh?
The poor I just wish we had Bill Laurie commentating. By God, he would have went off for a young Victorian.
Yeah.
Got him! Piss off!
James has been watching a lot of the
I caught up on the 12th man over the
12th man.
That Christmas break's a long break without any real sport until the Boxing Day test, so I was quite bored.
No, I don't blame you.
On to the Super Bowl, lads. I don't know if any of you guys watched it. I did watch most of it, and it was a very close game. Very controversial, some would say, at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a couple of Australians in it. They didn't do too bad, but...
I heard one of them didn't do too good.
Yeah, I also... But with the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs winning, and Patrick Mahomes, MVP, lads.
MVP again. This is his second,
mate.
his second Super Bowl MVP.
Doubles up. He's becoming worth that money, some would say.
He is. I mean, he's got, the largest contract in the NFL right now. So
before Ronaldo's recent contract, wasn't it like at least when it was done, it was like the highest paid sports athlete, wasn't it?
Look, I'm not too sure. It probably is.
It's 450 mil for 10 years.
Goodness me.
Like he'll earn 450 mil over 10 years. So a salary of 45 million a year.
Well, that
wow.
we worked it down to, I think it was something like $1.30 a second.
It's insane.
So can I grab 5 seconds of your time? Well, I hope you got more than $5.
So the Philadelphia Eagles, their entire season was based on their defense. So their defense throughout the year, I'm fairly certain, was one of, if not the best defense of the entire NFL. Now
I have heard this.
Yeah. Now, from I've got a couple of friends that absolutely love it. Took the day off.
Froth it, mate.
Absolutely. So I've got a mate who said that was one of the worst defensive games they'd played all year. That third quarter, where the Chiefs just took over and just started. I wouldn't say pulling away, but when they took the lead with that 64-yard returning touchdown.
Yeah.
He said they were capitulating, and it's not something they would do during the season. But
a couple of times they one of the players were sacked or whatever, and then the ball just on the ground. They go score a touchdown. I'm like, that's pretty bad.
It's the difference between the best and the rest, isn't it? It's that composure under pressure, to be down 3 touchdowns and to just keep getting into it. Just
Another thing I wanted to bring up about the Super Bowl, in the pre-game show, Jack fucking Rewalt was there.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
What
was he doing there?
It was Nick Brennan.
It was Nick. Yeah.
Oh, Nick. Yeah.
Jack's still warming up for the Richmond Tigers, mate.
I'm still baffled at why they brought an AFL fucking.
Oh, because there's another St Kilda player that currently plays for the
I know, but
Eagles.
It is wild for
Nick Rewalt a former AFL MVP. That's an award.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a unique.
But did he win the Brownlow?
Oh,
I'd have to double check because AFL is not a strong point of mine.
That's stronger for you than me. Come on.
Look, I'm gonna go with it and say yeah. Let's talk.
Yeah,
yeah.
A bit of homework for the viewers.
No, he didn't. The
No, he
best
didn't.
He got was equal 7th.
Yeah, so jeez, MVP's a very big stretch.
A very big stretch. Yeah, he won the juniors MVP of the of an AFL league there.
It counts, doesn't it? I also won my under 6's best and fairest, but
whilst coaching, right?
Yeah, whilst coaching.
I'm pretty sure you tied that one, yeah.
Coach's award.
Yeah. But what was really impressive was Patrick Mahomes obviously going off injured, and then coming back on. That was very surprising. His ankle looked very bad. If you watch rewatch that in slow motion, you're wincing. I know I winced. But for him to come back,
had an ankle injury as well.
That's
something I don't think just coming off the top of my dome here, but I'm pretty sure, he had a previous ankle injury and he's played for another one in the. This shows why he's.
I tell you what, for that money, he should be able to do it with one leg and one arm behind his back.
If I was getting that money, I'd throw a couple balls and probably get some touchdowns. I'd say, yeah.
That's how you're good at it.
But all credit to him. I remember when he signed that contract, there was so much talk about, geez, imagine if he doesn't win Super Bowls in the future, like how much money they've invested in one player. But he's proven himself to be worth it, hasn't he? What's that? 2 in the last 5, is it?
Mate, I want to say it's.
Or is it 3?
Let's have a look. So no, it was 2019 the Chiefs won. So that was when he was in charge, obviously quarterback there. Then it was the Buccaneers.
Tom Brady.
Then the LA Rams, and now once again to old mate Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
That's in such a competitive league. Like, good on him. Especially
There's talks of him being a future GOAT.
As far as the technical ability, yeah.
There absolutely is talks. Now, once again, I'm not a massive NFL head, but I obviously browse the web and all sports. But there are talks. If he keeps going the way he is, he is at the table with your Brady's. Yeah.
But, I mean, talking about goats. See what I was going for the segue. LeBron James.
Oh wait! Can we just stay back on there because we skipped over a huge part of this game. What about that call in the last 2 minutes?
Oh wow! Nearly forgot
the holding call. Yeah, that's what, and we can't finish that without talking about that.
Oh mate,
it's one of the most controversial calls in Super Bowl history.
Yes,
it
could mean that some players never see a Super Bowl ring, never become a champion, just from one holding call.
I'm going to go ahead and say that was not a hold because it was happening all game and nothing was called then. Why would you call it at the end? That's my opinion.
Definitely makes you wonder.
What did he do? He pinched his jumper at most, sort of thing.
You could barely say that was a hold.
Barely. Any kind of conspiracies going behind the scenes to get Patty Mahomes a couple more wins, eh?
Could be.
Nobody likes calling refs drop kicks and idiots and losers.
I love it.
Only on a weekend at a local Sunday league. Talking about local Sunday league, didn't you win your game of basketball recently, Lucas?
I certainly did, mate. And I rained down a 3. I was on fire.
They'll be calling you LeBron James soon.
They will be, mate.
Oh, wow, that's a better segue.
Thanks, man. I come up with these all the time. LeBron James, top point scorer ever.
Yeah, well, basketball, I'd say, is now one of my strong points. But
after winning that one game.
Well, look, I reckon I could speak for all NBA fans. Last Wednesday, all that was on anyone's mind was the question of, would today be the day that LeBron James becomes the all-time top scorer? And, with 10.9 seconds left in the third quarter, he hit a 21-foot turnaround jumper to put himself atop of the mountain of the all-time point scorers in the NBA.
So how about it? The swarming on the field and the interviews and everything. They know how to put on a show, don't they?
Look, they definitely do, and I think of all players that deserve something like that, I think he's definitely the one, because something that comes up all the time with LeBron is that, at the moment there's a player called Ja Morant. Now he's I think into his 4th year in the NBA, a really good player, but hangs around with the wrong people and is in the media fairly frequently, either doing something stupid, hanging out with people that do something stupid. That's just an example, but you've got LeBron who's been at the top for 20 years, who has had not one blemish on his career.
Other than he's recently been getting caught out for lying, but that's a different.
That's just a compulsive habit. He's also not very good at he's also not very good at singing lyrics.
No, look, he's horrible at that. Hey, what? Yeah.
But he's still hasn't been in the line, like in the bad light of the media or anything like that.
He's never abused a woman. He's never
a family man through and through.
Family man through and through. Been with his wife since high school. He's your model athlete in the world.
And he's earning that much money that he could be. God knows what he could be doing, but he's.
I don't want to know what you'll do with that much money, Brett.
I'm already thinking about it. Just glad that I didn't win my Sunday league basketball game. Otherwise, I'd probably be on at least least 200 mil.
Look,
You'd be getting home about now, wouldn't you?
3 from 4 from the free throw line, couple of assists.
Ooh, shit.
And the best part, when I hit my 3, I did a 3 to the dome.
Oh, it's getting hot. It's
Bang.
getting hot.
Did you do like a walk away? Just like shoot it and just fucking
No, I did 3 to the dome like Carmelo Anthony, mate.
Oh,
I was on top of it. But yeah, just once again, you know, the fact that LeBron came out of high school with all that hype, you know, he had articles written about him as a 17-year-old, calling him the chosen one, and here we are, 21 years after those articles come out, and he's honestly was the chosen one.
Yeah,
so, he's lived up to the hype.
21 years.
That's right. That's the most ridiculous thing. He's been playing in the NBA longer than he was beforehand getting to the NBA.
Wild.
Yeah. You know, the fact he lived up to the hype and even surpassed it.
Because was he straight out of high school? He was one of the last ones, wasn't he?
Certainly was.
Yeah.
Certainly was.
It's crazy.
Doesn't he now want to play with his son?
Yes, he's waiting for... So LeBron James Jr. is eligible to be drafted, I think, next draft, so 2024. That would make him turning 40 in that season.
And the way he's playing, though, he could do it easy.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, mate.
last season for
people
the
for the last 8 years have been saying surely he's going to slow down soon, but he's now averaging more points this year than he did in the last few years. So
well, they were calling him too old, like back when he was at Cleveland and was battling out with the Warriors. Like there was talks back then, like, oh, he can't do it anymore. He doesn't have that dog in it.
The dog.
That's just coping mechanisms for people who think he's not the best. That's my opinion.
This is my opinion.
But obviously, great for the Lakers, and you would have loved it as well. They still lost to OKC.
That's right. OKC fan right here, so I'd OKC.
I'm a LeBron fan.
Yeah. So back to the real goat, Josh Giddey.
Josh Giddey, my boy Josh.
Yeah. Is he related to Kurt Gidley or something?
Long lost cousins.
Oh, okay, so Because I didn't like. I mean, I only know LeBron. That's all I narrowed in on him. But so my basketball knowledge goes after. Like that's about it.
That's about it, is it?
Yeah.
I get a lot of basketball on my TikTok and keep up to date through that.
Yeah.
Talking about TikTok, Couch Commentators TikTok.
Go
follow it.
Go follow right now.
Go follow it, everybody.
We are blowing up on TikTok, so get into that.
Yeah, there's some good traction there. Good traction.
Oh, mate, yeah. Hundreds of followers. Millions. We'll be earning similar to Patrick Mahomes and LeBron James.
Yeah. Just waiting on that last paycheck, right?
It's on its way. Okay, this is the time I certainly have been waiting for. Lucas, you're a mad punter. You already said it.
I did.
It's horse racing with Lucas.
Horse racing.
Oh, mate.
All right, so just a little recap of the weekend. So on Saturday, there was the return of Animo.
Oh, what a horse.
Now, Animo returned in the Group 2 Apollo Stakes over 1,400 metres at Randwick. Now, he was up against a pretty decent weight-for-age field there. Look, he jumped well, got the one out, one back position. Pace was quite moderate, led up by Hinge, the Chris Waller mare. Now, Animo's, arguably his biggest rival in that race, Fangirl, actually jumped out last of the bunch and, was dead last coming into the turn. She finished quite well. Animo didn't dispose of them, in the fantastic style that you would have liked to have seen, but he did do enough.
Doesn't do that often though, does it?
No,
that's he likes to just sort of win by enough.
Well, that's exactly right. He does enough. He does enough.
Wasn't J-Mac on board as well?
J-Mac was on board.
Oh, mate, I know.
Which is almost...
I was on Animo, don't you worry. At that $1.60 odds, mate, I was fucking on it.
Yeah, he's a favourite back of this bloke.
Oh, mate.
But, on top of Animo's run, I'm not sure. I think he goes to the Chipping Norton States next, which is... that would be Saturday the 25th at Randwick over 1,600 metres. Now, I just want to say it was a great run by Fangirl up the fence the last 300 metres. Look, Mo'unga finished very strong as well, and Annabelle Neesham's going to be looking to win a Group 1 with him so they can get him a stud deal at the end of this racing season, because that's always been the plan with him, is to get the Group 1 and get a stud deal. So it'll be very interesting to see where a couple of the other horses go from here. Now,
I also seen, I don't want to cut you off here, but I've
You're
seen Nature Strip is back this week. Is that any kind of truth to that?
absolutely correct, mate.
Oh, baby!
Nature Strip, the Sprint King, the fastest horse in the world, is taking to the Flemington Straight over 1,000 metres. That will be on Saturday.
Shit, my goat.
Now, look, there are some very good horses that are lining up in that race. So, Nature Strip heads the top of the market. I think he's about $1.85 at the moment.
So, right up my alley, right there. Yeah.
Right up your alley, nice and
Put that
short.
down. I'll black book that one.
Yes. Now, there's a very interesting 3-year-old that's going to be in that race called Buenos Noches. Now, it's trained by Matt Smith. It has not won one of the big group races at the moment, or any of the 2-year-old races, but in the Coolmore Stud Stakes, it finished a close third to In Secret. When I say close third, it was close to second. My apologies, but In Secret in the Coolmore Stud Stakes. And another horse that'll be interesting in that race is Marabi. Now, Marabi, if you remember, punters about 18 months ago rattled off about 8 or 9 victories in a row, all extremely dominant.
Yep.
And I think I missed it almost every time. I
assume you would have. Before she went down in the William Reed Stakes at Moonee Valley, she pulled up not.
Was that the first time I had it?
It was. Funny enough, we were at your house when it happened. So it was definitely you were on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like our party.
We can bring a horse down. Oh, yes, we can.
And then just quickly, add one more into that Black Caviar Lightning Stakes on Saturday. That's interesting. Coolangatta. 1,000 metres, Coolangatta with a lightweight being only a 3-year-old. She is going to ping to the front, and it'll be her and Nature Strip going at it, I feel, with Marabi tucking in behind.
A lot of people will be on Coolangatta.
Yeah, so if you like the upset, if you don't like Nature Strip first back, you're looking at either Coolangatta or Marabi.
Or Marabi, correct.
Buenos noches.
I wouldn't suggest backing Marabi first up. I'd like to see how she returns. She did put away with a couple of the Group 3, Group 2 level class sprinters, about 18 months ago. But just quickly, I've got 2 bets for tomorrow that people might want to have a gaze at.
Is this Lucas's lock of the week?
Lucas's lock of the week.
Oh, beauty.
So, first up, I've got race 2 at Randwick Kensington Track, which is a horse called Bon Vivant.
So, what day is this racing?
This is
Let me just write this down.
This is tomorrow, race 2, Randwick Kensington.
On Wednesday?
Wednesday, yes, sorry. Wednesday.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know if this will be out by then, man.
Well, I'll just go fiddly fuck myself.
Well, no, do it.
Go for
so
it,
that way,
yeah.
when this comes out, when this comes
anyway.
out, everyone will know.
All right.
That
race
way,
2,
we can put on the screen whether you win or lose, and if you do, then...
we want to keep a tally.
That's fair. Race 2, Bon Vivant. It's currently paying $3.60. Now, this horse was one of the favourites for the Guineas about 18 months ago. Just absolutely never got up in its 3-year-old season. Broke its maiden over about 1,600 at Newcastle, I think, a year ago. Now, the further it is, the better. But he did have a very nice. Yeah, he did have a very nice run. First up. Finishing third, beaten only about 2 lengths in the same grade at 1,400 metres in Warwick Farm. But since that run, from that race, there's been 2 winners and a second placing. So the form seems to be quite strong, and I also feel like he will be the best horse in that race.
Alright, so Bon Vivant. Lock it
Vivant.
in.
That's
if it
right.
wins, you are the GOAT, and then we'll get a tip. Next week, we'll get tips for when people can actually punt.
Yeah.
And, like, if you win
we'll try to
you'll
get
jump
a Friday,
on it.
Saturday tip.
Yeah, sorry about that, gentlemen. I'll make sure it's a Saturday tip next time.
Yeah. It's all
Sweet.
good.
Just don't let it happen again.
I'm sorry.
we expect the best and only the best on this podcast.
That's right.
If Dan was here, he probably would have fired you by now. I don't know. Rest in peace, Dan.
Yeah.
Good shout. I just wish you made it out of that accident on the M5.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Even talking about it now.
Hopefully we can get the ghost of Dan in for next week. And
sure we can. That'll be good. Oh, bloody hell. Next thing I had was guess the famous athlete, but Dan's not here, so...
you didn't pick an athlete, did you?
No, not really. I could come up with one if you want to try and guess, but I would just be going off the dome.
Alright, you do it. You can search up their Wikipedia so you have your information and stuff.
Okay.
And I'll give it a crack because I saw you last week, and when you said,
you think it's
I'm gonna
easy?
run out of it. Yeah. I thought it was easier than what you made it seem to be. Half the time you just said, "Oh, I'm running out of time."
I got the drama down. Did it not bang?
This was great. I love that part of it.
Yeah, look, the TikTok went well, so that's all I'm happy about. I'll have it up on the screen now for everyone, and down below as well. That is a famous athlete. I will give James a minute of time to guess the athlete. I'm just getting the timer up now.
That is just yes or no answers, yeah?
Yes or no answers. Okay, timer's ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Woman.
No.
NRL.
No.
Tennis.
No.
Ooh.
NFL.
Ooh. No.
NBA.
No.
Swimming.
No.
He's supposed
Cricket?
to go to Mayor.
No.
Oh, jeez.
Do you want a hint?
Yes,
is, athletics.
Athletics. Usain Bolt.
Surely it's not that easy. Is it Usain Bolt?
So you have 20 seconds still to go. Any more questions you want to ask before?
That's such a shocking pick.
Well, Dan's supposed to do this, man. It's not me.
I thought it was gonna. I thought after that, I thought it was then gonna be which it could have been a great segue into the next topic. Spag bowl.
Yeah, your timer's out, James. Do you want to?
I think I'll lock in Usain Bolt.
You are wrong, Kathy Freeman.
You didn't say. I didn't even hear you say no.
No, I did say yeah. You're right, James. I was just messing with you.
That's alright.
Oh, bloody hell. Can't believe
But,
it. I was like, surely you won't guess Usain Bolt. Well, you did go through a lot of questions.
Well, that's, I was going to go to track and field, but I'm like, would he really go there? It makes it a bit difficult.
I was thought of like something out of the box. You thought you were a big brain, and then you still weren't. Whatever.
Well, I also know, like me, and like a lot of other people, you have a limited amount of athletics people you know.
Yeah, look, my brain is only so small, and I can't keep too many people in my head.
And I like to damage it.
Yeah, I like to drink beer. Sponsored by Bloke in a Bar. Definitely not drinking Bloke in a Bar beer at the moment.
Sponsored by Cut and Dry.
NRL talk next, boys. I, for one, love NRL. I don't know about you.
Ooh, yeah, I just like it a little bit, I guess.
My team's not good, so I'm not a massive fan.
The funniest thing is, me and Dan in the last podcast, any podcast fans watching, we talked about a Tigers fan who kept saying "fold the club." Guess what? We have him on, ladies and gentlemen.
What a special guest!
Fold
the club.
Yeah, fold the club. We might as well get straight into it. 48-12, Warriors defeat the Tigers, guys. Well, how do you feel about it, Lucas?
Okay, so you want to know how I feel about it. So my feelings are...
There's 3 words.
is I hear about the Tigers having this amazing academy with all these great players and
Center of excellence. I believe.
Center of excellence. Look, that's only just been built, but we've said to have a great youth system. Why is it whenever they get their opportunity, they're fucking shit? I don't get it.
Respectfully.
Look, absolutely, respectfully.
Yeah,
they're way better than I ever would be.
Well,
I wouldn't even
maybe.
bother trying
Maybe.
to play
I've seen you on the Oztag field. I think you've got the wool over some of them.
Look, for pace, absolutely.
If there's anything to look forward to, at least Luke Brooks will come back to the team and really steer the team around and get you guys going.
Yay for Luke Brooks.
Yeah,
look, I just wanted to see more after seeing some of the other games on the weekend. I wanted to see more from a West Tigers team. That's all. Every team seemed to have given a red hot crack, but the Tigers just absolutely did not.
48-12. Holy shit! I didn't know it was that bad.
Luckily, I was watching the cricket. As I said, I invested my time. That time was invested well because I didn't have to watch that horrible game of football. But the rest of my cricket time, that may have been a bad investment.
I guess positive signs out of it is, Warriors are looking good. They had some good players.
Yeah, that's Warriors fans be not confident yet because it's only first trial, but
I seen a meme that someone was already going to buy the grand final ticket, so I don't know. They're pretty
nothing
confident.
quite like a Warriors fan meme.
If you're a Tigers fan, the only upside was probably Utikamanu from the. I watched a bit of a KO mini, and it looked like he was back to the form after he got put in that Origin camp, and then obviously he was injured for half of last year. Just never really got back into it after that, but hopefully Clemmer and stuff has brought the best out of him.
Another massive plus is shit stains getting the shit knocked out.
Far out. Like me as a child wrestling my dad, and he just wanted me to bugger off.
And he wanted to play fullback for you guys. If that happens,
I thought you signed him to play fullback.
It's a long season. That's all I'm saying.
Next topic.
Next topic. All right, as we go through the games, I really like this next game. Sharks versus Newcastle, 28-16. Look, what I have to say is Sharks are going to win the comp, but I don't know. Any opinions from you guys?
So I don't have. I've actually got less information on this game than the other one. I was not using my phone right, and I was at this stage starting to go, "Fuck, we've no chance in the cricket."
All I know is Sharks to win the comp. Daniel Atkinson looked red hot, and he only came over for maybe 2 weeks ago, to train with the team from Melbourne. He's a half who played fullback for us and was just setting up tries. It was a gun. And then we had knee-high Peru.
Peru.
Gun from Penrith. I think it was their Jersey flag. Came over and he killed it as well.
So, as far as I know, that Atkinson was actually without a contract. He was signed for the Sunshine Coast Falcons.
And now he's going to be in a top 30. And then you got Wayne Daddy Graham in the halves. Oh, mate.
What a guy.
Turning back the clock, I heard. Turning back the clock.
2019 Origin Series in the pouring rain game 2.
What a guy.
Wayne Daddy.
Wayne
Daddy Graham. Promising side for Sharks. Newcastle, they had a lot of their number one forwards in the team, their starting front rowers and that sort of stuff, and they didn't really perform as they would hope, I guess. But, I think O'Brien's probably on the chopping block first couple of seasons.
I think he's my first up. I think Titans are going to be better. I can't see Newcastle being better. Tigers should be, but I think Tim Sheens is a mistake. And
Tim Sheens is a mistake. And just in general, and then also bad coach as well.
But then, and the Warriors, I thought were going to be horrible, but high completion rate, good defense. As far as a rookie coach, they're good signs out of your first trial. So
that's fair. That's a fair take.
Wrong. I mean, he was one of the coaches they wanted. To be fair, Tigers wanted both Penrith assistant coaches. Couldn't get them. Look, we're off the Tigers. But
Sorry, off the Tigers.
Where I go.
Get ready for this for the next 24 rounds plus another 2 weeks, so at least 26 weeks.
Back-to-back spoon,
and then semis, grand final.
Lucas,
but Tigers stop being relevant after the regular season.
Can we maybe see a fold the club tattoo if back-to-back spoons happen?
Right here.
Right here. Okay.
Right there. Across my chin. Cursor, what you got?
All right, lads. We're on to the next game. Seagulls versus Rabbitohs, 30-28.
Yeah.
Very close game, that one.
This is certainly a game that happened.
Yeah, do you believe that?
Again, still watching cricket at this time. I'm sorry.
Cooper Johns
I wish I was more to add to that.
Who else do you have? Like, Cooper Johns was on fire. They had Balmain Jr.
Zach Fulton.
Zach Fulton's got to try, yes.
You just go through the stats, are you?
The 5'8" for South, the Balmain Jr. killed it, so he was another Tiger.
So, actually, so during this game, we were really starting to get smashed in the cricket, so I did switch over for 5 or 10 minutes and started watching some of the game, and he actually looked like a freak.
Yeah, it was pretty good. He's only like 18 or 19 years old, and he was just wild.
So, their only trouble with me is, like, Cody Walker will probably, I think he's contracted for 4 years, if I'm not, like, so that means there'll be 2 years where this kid should be ready for NRL, but Cody Walker will still be playing, so it'll be hard for him to balance that, but it's a promising future if you're a South fan.
On to the next game. Did you watch this one, James? 22-16, Penrith beating Eels.
There was a game before that where I saw a young, hot Eels player absolutely dominate.
Was it Zach Sini?
Yeah, I said in the Para game I did see that. But yeah, Parramatta were a bit average. Hoshin was a bit slow. Obviously, just his second game or whatever in
like 2 years.
2 years, so you expect him to have some cobwebs that he needs to dust off. But
Yep.
Other than that, players like Sini actually looked surprisingly good. Like
double,
like so, and he couldn't get tackled. Like just kept busting tackles. Like breakout year at the Tigers, but then sort of fell to shit pretty quick in that same year.
Look,
he's
changed
about
mullet,
2 games, mate.
He's definitely trying something new, and it might be working.
Then he was with your boys at the Sharks, wasn't he, last year, Brendan? Just playing with your
So he was for a little bit, but then I think he went to you guys.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, he actually looked quite promising, and with a Parramatta team that's low on outside backs, who knows what happens throughout a year.
Could be something for the future. Someone for the future.
Yeah, Sean Russell also looked good at fullback, and a couple of the bigger boys had all right games in what was very stupid weather out there at Penrith, but
all I know is Maverick Geyer. What a bloke!
Yeah, he looked good. But the Parramatta side looked relatively average, and then you look at those Penrith youngsters, and by God, they're good.
Love the commentators like talk Maverick Geyer up a lot, but he's good. But
he's good. He's also hot, but he is good.
So he's got that and that going for him, and he's also MG's son. So
but that whole Penrith team, like they've got such a good system. Like
the depth is.
How about that try, like off the Parramatta mistake? I think it was Rankin for a rank pass, and then they just played soccer down the field to the winger and centre.
That was pretty funny, wasn't it?
What a highlight for this early in the year.
All right, on to the next game: Saints versus Saints. St George versus St Helens. 30-18, the Saints win.
Yeah, that's right.
Who you think won?
This game put me to sleep, so I didn't see the end.
Yeah, so when was the last time a Super League team came over and beat us?
I do your own research, but I thought it was 2017. I think I remember hearing.
Really?
Yeah, they used to win. They used to win them relatively often because
it was during their season, wasn't it?
Yeah, and most of the time we would head over to England.
Yeah.
Get on the piss. First their best team mid-season or like early season. Well, we're like sort of at the obviously in our off season. Lose a close game or something.
I don't think Dragons fans have a lot to look forward to this year.
Yeah, he's another one I think on the chopping block. Anthony Griffin.
Yeah, I think he is, but I can see them sitting and finishing somewhere like 12th or 13th, and like never being chance of the spoon, but never being a chance of the 8. They've got they've got enough quality there, but they don't have enough excitement or anything to really beat
James,
good teams.
who is your spoon for the year?
My spoon for the year, probably Newcastle Knights.
Who'd you say?
Newcastle Knights.
Really?
I
Okay,
think
Brandon,
the
what about yourself?
Saifidi brothers can't do it.
Okay, let me think. Okay, don't say Tigers. Don't say Tigers.
Just be truthful. Be truthful. I won't be hurt.
I have been one to tip the Titans to go shit, but come to think of it, Dragons with Jacob Little and dummy half.
Yeah, good point.
I don't know who's there.
He's a Tigers player.
Talatau Moan's not there either.
Nah, so it should be Sullivan. I think he's saying that he should be fit for round 1.
Might be a long season for losing their good forwards as well. A couple, like Tarek Sims.
Yeah. They didn't even play Tarek Sims last year, though.
But, after all that conclusion, I'm going Tigers. What about you, Lucas?
Look.
Follow the class.
That's all I'm going to say. Nah,
Okay.
I would not be surprised either way with the Dragons or the Tigers.
Dragons or Tigers.
I'll leave it
I
at
do
that.
think, as much as I rip on the Tigers,
I think it should be better.
They should be better. They definitely should.
Not a lot better, but somewhere better.
In theory, they should be better.
I hate hearing stuff like, with focusing on our attack and stuff. It's like, your defense has been bad for years, but please focus on your defense.
please, for the love of me.
And then you said 40. I know your main team weren't there, and they're much better than the team that you put out. But like defensive structures are the same. All these players should be doing the same like systems, and to let in 46 points in a nice, relatively cold day in New Zealand.
All right, we kept getting back to the Tigers, but
I keep falling into that hole, that giant hole in the fence.
For just one more thing with the Saints game, I did like Wellesby and Makinson on the wing. He's a gun. I think them against Penrith. We'll talk about that soon, but like, I think they have a chance now, having a couple of weeks into this heat and like getting used to the climate. I think they'll be better for it against the Dragons. Yeah, that's something I want to say. But yeah, on to the next game. Roosters 32, Storm 24.
So
I'm not going to lie to you. That game was on when the UFC was on, so I didn't pay attention at all.
And I'm in the same boat because there was also a giant Chiefs helmet at the establishment. We were watching this, and it was blocking half the screen.
Why would they put it right in front of the screen that we could like? You could turn your head, you could watch it, and you're like, oh, there's a fucking Chiefs helmet.
It was an absolute nightmare.
Oh,
we actually asked to get it moved, but
yeah. I think it was a close game, as I can see from the score. I'm guessing two teams. There was two halves.
I wish I could add more onto this. I heard that a lot of the Roosters forwards looked really good, and
I believe there is a winner and a loser.
Yeah, I also
at the end of the game there is. Yeah,
I also heard Melbourne's depth is looking a lot better than last year. Like this time last year, they looked pretty thin. But again, I didn't actually watch the game. I'm just very fucking digesting stuff that I've heard through other people.
Just dribbling out other stuff that you've got into your brain and you just spit it back out. Yeah, no, I get you. So we don't know too much about that game, but promising signs for both teams. Very.
But the
promising.
UFC was good.
Volkanovski, Makachev. We can talk about that again. Or the Tigers, if we want to throw it back. Okay, on to the next game. 34 Bulldogs to Raiders 18.
Look, I think
it's on the same screen. It was on the same screen.
I think it was good to see Jared Croker back for the Raiders.
Yeah, the GOAT.
His first time in quite a while now. I think this is quite funny that about, 2.5, 3 years ago, we were talking about going to Jared Croker's 300th game. He still has not hit game 300 because of injury, which is quite upsetting.
Very sad. We even talked about getting matching shirts.
We did, yep.
Before,
and all wearing headgears.
And more in headgears. But it's obvious the Bulldogs are looking much nicer than they have the last few years as well.
Yeah,
So
they...
whatever Serraldo's doing is working.
Yeah, 100%. They got a lot of good young players and a lot of depth coming through, and some good signings. Franklin Pele, one that I'm sad to see go.
Big old Frank the Tank.
Yeah, Frank the Tank. He's got to offload a try assist, I'm pretty sure, on the weekend as well. That was pretty good for him.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting to see, especially this next week, because obviously they played against a pretty weak Raiders team with close to their full strength team, like the Bulldogs had. So, but from all reports and from the little highlights I've seen, they did look to be pretty in sync, which is a wrap to Serraldo and everyone on board there, because there's so many new players in key positions, and they were missing Hayes Perham, who's meant to be playing fullback for them, and they'll still have the ball moving around nicely. So good on.
Yeah, look, good signs for them. Brad Schneider was killing it as well. Feel sad for him being stuck behind Fogarty and Whiten. He won't get another chance for a little while unless his injury or something like that.
Last year, I thought he played pretty well, but at the same time, Raiders were losing games, so he was sort of caught in a hard position. But I think, is he 20? I think he's 20.
Yeah, he's pretty young. Yeah. He's definitely got a future ahead of him. And
tell you what, if he wants to come to Para, we can definitely out a JA and a Rankin. We could out them and get him in pretty comfortably.
Definitely be smart to sign him up, but obviously not Tigers because they have Luke Brooks. On to the next one. Dolphins versus Cowboys, 22-22 draw. The first draw of the
not the last.
Season. Potentially.
Not the last of the round. Wow. What about these fucking Brisbane?
Yeah, all the Queensland teams couldn't play for shit, I guess. They couldn't. No one wanted to win.
They had a pre-game handshake on scoring a draw, on just having a draw.
What about? Did you see the first play for the Dolphins? A drop ball.
Yeah.
How fucking good is that to start the whole Dolphins campaign?
Imagine coming
on each ride out.
Imagine off a pretty successful World Cup. You make the semi-final. You're on top of the world. You're 18. You're flying, and then you go, all right, New Year.
My time to
Let's
shine.
go, baby. I'm going to dominate this and just drop it.
It's a great way to ruin your first game.
Oh, no. Definitely when there's talks about him actually keeping the starting half position.
Yeah, like pushing O'Sullivan out of the team, which would be rough on O'Sullivan, especially when Milford's as average as he is. But
absolutely.
Allegedly.
Yeah, sorry, he might be our first guest. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you don't know. Milford could come onto this podcast. Okay, well, we've already talked about it, but Titans and Broncos also a draw. Wild scenes out in the Sunshine Coast.
That was wild scenes, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. That one
I'll tell you what, if I was a gambling man and you just backed the Queensland teams to be useless and just went draws all around, geez, you would be good. And they've got a history of it too. The amount of draws that Brisbane and the Cowboys have had, it would have been a good bet.
Grand final not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, Thurston, where's your Queensland spirit now?
Thurston.
But again, I didn't catch too much of this game. Late Sunday.
Had better things to do like day drink. But look, ultimately, guys, once again, this game, 24-all, it was a game that happened.
Yeah, it was a shit show. Okay, so on to the second round of the NRL preseason. We have Eels versus Knights. James, who you picking?
Eels, because I told you at the start of the podcast.
Massive Eels fan. What about you, Lucas? Who are you going with?
I'm taking the Eels because you're a better team.
Also Newcastle my spoon pick, so...
Yeah, no. I mean, I'll go against you guys, and I'll pick Knights because I think Sharks are a good team, and we beat them.
Yeah,
They may be a good team, so I'm just gonna throw that one
You
out there.
you beat a Newcastle team with both Saifidi players, and you played full
We
reserve
beat
grade team.
a overstrength Newcastle, so next game is Seagulls versus the Roosters. James, again, who are you picking on this one?
I weirdly think I almost want to say Seagulls because I feel like Roosters played a few games last week that might get less time this week. So let's go for that.
Yep. Lucas, how you see this one? How do you see
I don't want to be a copycat, but I'm following James here. I've got a feeling Manly will win. Yeah.
I feel like
again, though, these are also trials that really doesn't matter. Like I think Roosters is a better team, but for some reason I think that's.
Can I vote for both teams to have fun?
Can I vote for Victor Radley to take someone's head off and start the season with a 3-game suspension?
Have a suspension. Okay, alright. I will be picking the draw. I'm going to draw for this game. I think it's going to be too close.
Okay.
I like those odds, and I think Roosters definitely over the season will have a better team, but this game, I think they'll even out. Next game, we got Rabbitohs versus Dragons. James, who you pick it?
Rabbitohs, Charity Shield, they just usually get the job done. Like it's a game they both try to get up for, but Rabbitohs.
Yeah, both full strength squads, 100%. How do you see this one, Lucas?
Look, once again, tagging along with James. As you guys said, Charity Shield.
Hey, there's got to be some sort of
ask Lucas first next time.
Ask me at the start. But yeah, so look, Rabbitohs, Charity Shield, I feel they'll be too strong. They've got a better team than the Dragons.
I thought Manly was an odd choice, and then you said, I'm going to follow you, and I went, what?
Alright, well, I actually will be following both of you. I'm going South as well, because as we already said earlier, I don't think Dragons have a chance this season, let alone against the full-strength Rabbitohs. On to the next, the World Club Challenge, the best of the best from both the NRL and the Super League. James, who do you see winning? Panthers
ask me
or
first.
Saints?
Go, Lucas. I might have a different opinion.
Yeah, I think there might be different opinions.
The Panthers will win this quite comfortably.
Ooh, the Panthers.
But how much? Let's put scores on.
Okay. I'm gonna go Panthers by 16.
Okay, alright. Okay.
Panthers by 22.
I will go Panthers, but only by 4. It's very close, I think. They are a different team.
Do they not show up for the second half, or what?
Do they just put
Does it end 96-92?
Oh, no. I just think, no Coruscant, no Kikau. I don't know.
No party, you reckon?
Yeah. I don't think they're going back to back to back, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
Cowboys, Broncos is the next game. We'll go with Lucas again. Don't really want to keep copying, so we'll just see what he's going with this one.
Look, I am going to take the Cowboys in this game for just the fact that I don't like the Broncos.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, James, what are you thinking?
I'll go Cowboys as well. I'm guessing.
What the fuck is it?
Because you said Cowboys first, so I'm guessing they're home.
No, I think I've got that wrong. It is Sunshine Coast.
Sunshine Coast. Okay.
No one wants to be there.
You give Brisbane a bit more of a chance there, but no Reece Walsh. I'll go Cowboys.
True. So you guys have literally gone the same tip every game.
Yeah, we talked to each other beforehand.
I'm gonna join you again. I mean, this seems like
the thing is, it's hard to go. It's hard to go off by now. We we came out earlier and also said that we watched half the games last week.
Very true. But also, I mean, like, as you said, Reece Walsh is out. I don't know who their other fullback is, considering they let Asako go and Tessie New.
Yeah.
So, I don't know who their reserve fullback is at the moment, but I'm guessing we would have seen him on the weekend.
Yeah, we would have seen him sometime. Or if not, the week before when they played against the Queensland Cup team.
Yeah, all three of us are Cowboys there. Next game is the Warriors versus Storm. Warriors in first place, Storm in 14th, guys. take that into consideration before you have your tip. Lucas, what are you thinking?
I am going to pick the Warriors because please smash the Storm because the Tigers got smashed.
All right, you want to see the Warriors do good. That way it kind of makes sense.
Correct.
James, how are you feeling?
I go Melbourne, but I think it's going to be like 1-12. I sort of like. I only watched the mini sort of later, but the Warriors. I like what the Warriors were doing.
Well, look, I'm going Melbourne. I think they are just too good of a side and have a really good coach, and I'd say the depth must be like next level. But,
and they've also got a lot of people fighting for positions, so like it creates a good culture.
Big Christian Welch is back, like he was back this last week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Big Dog's got
good work for the Big Dog.
That's true. Big Dog does have to.
Next game. Oh, baby. This is someone saying the game of the week. 18th place versus 17th place. West Tigers versus the Raiders. Lucas, who do you see winning?
The West Tigers win this 13+.
Ooh. Would you put Lucas's lock of the week on this as well?
I would happily put Bon Vivant at Randwick Race 2 tomorrow.
Shit.
I'm very, very confident the Tigers win this,
confident. Boys. Okay. Is it a full strength Tigers? Probably, mate.
Look, mate, either way, we need this. So yeah.
we can't get back-to-back spoons, please. James, how do you feel about this game?
I want the Tigers to win, but jeez, the Raiders fullback. Although they don't have a fullback.
That is true. But, tough ask.
Yeah, I'll go the Tigers. The Raiders started last year pretty poorly, but I'm nowhere near as confident as Lucas. I think money on the draw might be a better choice.
I have inside information. I think I remember hearing that Coruscant and Brooks is not playing. With no Brooks, I just can't
I did hear Brooks is not playing.
I'll be picking the Raiders. Yeah, and I'm confident with that tip. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You've baited us into that. You know we don't research.
Well, get your research done for next week, guys.
For next week.
Next week. Next game is... I mean, I don't even have to ask you. I know you guys are going to pick my team. Bulldogs versus Sharks. Lucas.
Now, just quickly, before we go any further, I'm not sure if you've noticed, Brandon, but an hour ago on NRL.com, the Sharks have locked in Craig Fitzgibbon to a long-term deal.
I have, to 2027. Let's go.
Yeah, so there's that. But look, I do think the Sharks will win. I think they're a very good team.
Well-coached team, some would say.
Well-coached team, that's right. No, I really rate Fitzgibbon as a coach.
If Wade Daddy, I know he's not in the halves, but if he was in the halves again,
he's in the halves, 13+.
Oh yeah, I would go 13+ as well. I think both teams have got pretty much their full strength as well, so it'll be a good test to actually see.
There you go.
Where we are. James, how do you feel?
Yeah, I weirdly think, I think you guys will have a much better season, but I want to say the Bulldogs win this. They played close to a full strength team last week. It's going to help them sort of just be a bit more connected. Just give him a sniff. Again, I'm not feeling too confident on this, but fuck the Sharks.
I was going to say, don't agree with you one bit. You're an idiot. Sharks are going to win 30+. Did I say 50+ earlier? 50+. Our depth is that strong. Even if we get an injury, we're just going to win. Hands down. Yeah, very confident. Very confident. 2023 our year, baby. Okay, on to the last game. Dolphins versus the Titans. Lucas.
I think the Titans are quite woeful and won't offer too much throughout the season. I think the Dolphins will also start slow, but they'll get better. So for that particular reason, I'm going to go Titans just this game.
Nice. James, what are you thinking, mate?
Probably the Titans. As I said, I think the Titans have a bit of upside this year compared to last year.
Well, I'm going off of last week's statistics, and purely because of that, it's going to be a draw.
I was about to say,
I'm thinking in the 20s, maybe a 22-22. I'm going with that.
Fair call.
Get it in.
Done.
Anyway, I think that's NRL talk for the moment. I think that's actually us going to wrap up the podcast as well, lads. Lovely talking to you guys. Lovely having you on.
Good night.
hopefully we have more great podcasts to come. Dan will hopefully be back as well. Rest in peace, that bloke. But,
No, it was good, mate. Very thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good stuff, boys. Good stuff.
I think we are onto something with this. Anyways, catch you all later. Follow the social medias.